TraderTrader.com's Daily Brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich.
All right, hello everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to me on the camera. Hello. Look at me. Here's my shirt showing my muscles. Tiny muscles. Actually, it looks smaller on the camera. I don't know why. I'm actually up. I'm at my highest weight in like 2 years. Which I don't know if is a good thing because I kind of been slacking on the running and the muscle is coming on easier, but I feel like my cardio is suffering. So I need to find that balance again, but I will now that I'm back in Bangkok. Waiting for myself to pop up on YouTube, see who's in here to say hello to all of you beautiful people. Hello, Forrest. Hello, Nor. Welcome, welcome. As you know, different things are happening at TRI. We're starting to do less public live streams, doing more private shows. The public ones are probably going to wind down a bit. We're going to look at just doing pre-recorded content, so that this will be winding down. But if you are a TRI community member, we will keep doing these for the foreseeable future for now, but there might be some shifting to pre-recorded stuff. I'm on the fence. I don't know what I'm going to do for sure. There's an argument to be made for doing pre-recorded, and there's an argument to be made for doing live. I can interact with you guys. You can ask questions. But I understand also it's hard for people to be here for the live shows, so I can't, we got to do what the market wants. And if the market likes the pre-recorded shows, we'll stick to that. If the market prefers the live shows, we'll stick to that. But we've seen the live is not really growing this channel. And that's what we want to do here. We want to grow the channel. We want to get more members for TRI. And if doing it this way is not working, we're going to try going the other way. Anyway, all right. Hopefully you guys are doing well. I'm back in Bangkok with my 5-year visa. That was mission accomplished in Vietnam. And happy to be back here where feels like a first world country. Vietnam is nice, but it's not a first world country for sure. While Thailand it's like 20 years ahead. Feels totally different. Okay, market. What is going on? You can see my screen here. News came out today. Unemployment came in line. Preliminary GDP came in pretty good. Tomorrow, we don't have that much. We've got core PCE price index. That's about it. And then nothing for the weekend. And then we've got Monday, Labor Day, holiday. So everything's closed. And then the market's going to open again Tuesday. And which market loves bank holidays? You guys know? Crypto. Bitcoin, there will be for sure be some shenanigans while the banks are closed. So be prepared for that this weekend. Especially if you're trading leverage, I would recommend maybe avoiding it if you want to have a stress-free weekend. Okay, let's jump into what's going on with the stock market. What is happening? Do you guys remember what I said last week and the week before and the week before that? We'd have our big rebound. We'd pause a little bit at 1.6818. We'd have a massive pause at 2.618. That's what's been happening. We've been sitting here since August 20th. It's been 9 days at 2.618. I said this. We're going to blah, 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 like that. And that's basically what we're doing. That's what we've been doing. And this looks like, and I showed this before, a 5-wave series where this was wave 1, this was wave 2, this was our big wave 3, this has been wave 4, and wave 5 should do something like that. That's what I'm thinking we'll see. And if we take a look at wave, wait a second. Let me get my book to make sure my extension target is correct because I haven't done this in a very long time. I don't usually I've got my book. See? This is where I keep all my special trading notes for things that I will forget. All right, let's see. Wave 3 extension. Could probably get a faster answer from ChatGPT than me. I apologize. Yeah, okay. So wave 3, retrace. We got a retrace. And then wave 5. All right. And So wave 5, there's multiple ways you can get it, but equivalent. So sometimes it will be equivalent to wave 1, which isn't that long, honestly. I don't like to go by these strict rules, but this is a potential like that, which would only lead us up to 57,850, or yeah, so 61.8 of trying to figure out my drawing here. What is wrong with my drawing? Oh, what a terrible drawing. 61.8 wave 1. Yeah, so it would be, I believe, I'm going to leave it at that. I will get back to you guys on that one. I'll post it in the lounge. I don't want to be wrong with what I say here, but this one for sure is a possibility. It would just be a clone of wave 1. Something else I've seen is you kind of just look at wave 4 and the general trend, and then you just use a chaos, and that points to your final target, and that lines up with our original W target from down here, which should be actually like this, something like more like that. But I remember I raised it so that things were, basically like that, and that puts us in the same area for our eventual target up here. So 5,900. Everyone's going to be expecting 6,000. That's going to be your BFRN. We're going to hit like 59.29 or something. And even if we go to 6,000, you're better off taking profits before we hit there, because once we hit it, there's a chance that we can turn very fast and just dump hard. There's a real possibility. I believe that a lot of the hedge funds involved got out significantly here. They've already been exiting their positions. I mean, if you look at Warren Buffett, they keep talking about Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire Hathaway keeps selling and selling and selling. Warren Buffett has his biggest cash pile apparently ever. So those are clear warning signals. And what you're seeing here is this final run to this high before the potential crash. Now, that is a scenario that I've kind of been going with for a while. I read an interesting article from Arthur Hayes today that I linked in the Discord, he called it Sugar Rush. And he's basically saying that because in case you haven't noticed, the Democrats are not even trying to hide certain things that they are doing to keep the Republican Party from getting into power, and specifically Trump. And one of those things that they may do is that parties often try to do is they try to pump the market up into the election so that the incumbent party stays in power. Usually if the market drops while the incumbent party is in power, they lose the power and are voted out. But if they can keep the market up, they can claim that the economy is going well, and then they can stay in power. So this is a potential scenario. I highly recommend reading Arthur Hayes' article called Sugar Rush that I linked in our Discord. Mostly he goes into the fact that the Treasury General Account is going to issue a lot more, thereby increasing a lot more Treasury bonds, thereby increasing the currency supply, thereby pushing the market higher, along with any asset valued in dollars. That's a big push to liquidity. They're going to further drain the rest of the reverse repo facility, another way to push up the liquidity. Thank you, Nick. So, and this is what I use to track it. So right now, as you can see, liquidity has been stable. The green line is liquidity. Pretty stable. But look what's happening with Bitcoin. Bitcoin in particular is very affected by this. So if you're interested in crypto is affected the most by liquidity. While the stock market is also affected, it's not as much. And you can see how the market is still rallying into this. You've still got these moves higher, but crypto has just completely stagnated. Bitcoin in particular, and it's just kind of sitting there. But if you see this green line spike, and by the way, if you want to recreate this, just take a screenshot of this and you can draw it, make it yourself. That's all it is. It's just a combination of the current balance sheet minus what's going on in these other things, and you can look up each one. Yeah. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, so that's the liquidity narrative. Read Sugar Rush, great article. Mic. Testing, testing. Oh, I lost my mic for a second there. Okay, so that's my expectation of what's going to happen with the S&P. You can see it pushing higher already on a 4-hour in particular is what we're looking at right now. There is some resistance here. I want to see us push higher than this. There is a chance we can get rejected from here. There's no reason why we couldn't do this more and then eventually push higher. I'm a bit concerned that if this doesn't happen very fast, like in the next couple days, that we're just going to roll over, because September is historically a very bad month for the stock market. So be cautious. I have been unloading my long positions. I talked about being long from down here. I was very long, and I've been unloading since here. I'm selling. I'm not 100% out, but I am significantly unloading my positions. I have not started shorting. I have a lot of cash. I'm trying to mirror Warren Buffett here and watch what happens. If we get this final spike and we're in September, I will consider putting on a few short positions. However, there is, again, the chance that the central banks will, not really the central banks, but in particular Janet Yellen and Powell, who is, in my opinion, Janet Yellen's bitch, they will team up to do some shady things that are going to cause the market to pump higher when everybody expects it to drop. So be careful, because technicals are not the only thing that matter. The market could have a million technical reasons to drop and then not drop because there is massive intervention coming in from particularly central banks in the U.S. And whatever the U.S. does, all the banks around the world are going to copy, because they don't want they want to be able to devalue their currency at the same level that the U.S. is devaluing the dollar. Okay, so there's that. That's the S&P. Let's look at TLT really quick. I talked about this multiple times. Treasury bonds, how they basically broke out right here. Is this the wrong TLT chart? Oh, I'm annoyed. My other TLT chart had a bunch of drawings. Damn. I hate when that happens. But anyway, we had a big weekly breakout, and we've just kind of been sitting up here. You can see it on RSI as well. If I go to like a higher time frame, yeah, you can see it looks really good. It's about to W on a monthly. If you get this W, right, you can move all the way up to 150. So I am holding a decent position in TLT from about $90 or so, and waiting to see how this plays out. So that's my one hedge so far, and I would love to see TLT pump up to there. There's no reason why we couldn't do that. The other concern is you want to be, and everyone's talking about this now, so this is nothing new, but the Japan carry trade unwinding. I don't think this is over yet. I don't think we've heard the last of this. If this continues, then you're going to have a big problem. And this is a big reason why I think they may try to save the dollar and then push down the yen in order to save this carry trade, because I think there's a massive amounts of leverage in the system still related to this. And if it drops more, then you're going to get unwinding of that in the system, and you're going to get further drops in the market. And Powell and Yellen don't want to see that. So be careful about this and consider keeping an eye on it. You don't want to see this going down any further. You want to see it stay in this area up here. By the way, ironically, this was my short zone. That's why I have those two red lines. So yeah, there's that. And this is a monthly chart, by the way. So weekly looks like it could be bouncing from this area, which would save the market for a while. So something again to keep an eye on. I'm not making any predictions on this. I'm just saying watch it. It has more of an effect than you might initially think. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google Japan carry trade, read about it, or just read the Sugar Rush article I told you about. He goes into it in that, and then he links to another article Arthur Hayes is a really good high level source that explains things in a way that I find entertaining, funny, and useful all at the same time. And he's a big crypto nerd, so that's great. Okay, so that's that. What else do I want to talk about with legacy markets before we jump into? Maybe we look at Tesla. I've been talking about Tesla for a while. Nothing big here. No real breakout. It's kind of just sitting here. I wouldn't buy or sell this. I don't have a strong position on it either way. I did think that this breakout would provide more of a rally than it has. Maybe if the rest of the market pumps, we get a little bit of a pump with Tesla. I was originally extremely bullish because they were coming out with those Optimus robots, but I haven't seen any big news on them yet. And I think until we get that news, this is not going to pump, and it could actually roll over with the rest of the market if that doesn't happen before the market rolls over, right? So that's Tesla. What's been in the news a lot lately? I mean, obviously Nvidia reported earnings, right? So Nvidia is the big one. If Nvidia doesn't keep going up, the rest of the market can't really keep going up too much. The original W target for Nvidia was up here at 150. So Nvidia needs to turn around and rally to hit that target in order for the rest of the market to hit our 4.669 targets. So 4-hour chart, it's pulling back here, but it's not a significant pullback. It can be saved. I think these lower time frames, this would be a significant resistance level as long as it doesn't go below my trend heuristic line right here. This is actually a buying zone, and we should rally, but obviously there's a risk. Always a risk. It doesn't look good on a weekly chart. This looks like absolute shit. If I was going to short Nvidia, it would have been right here. I mean, this is basically the short area on a weekly chart. You want to see a breakdown in RSI, MACD go negative, and a potential double top, and that's exactly what you have. You have a double top with divergence. This is the area where you would short, but I have a feeling a lot of people shorted here, and they want to take those people out first. So boop, go up here, and then we get our dump. That's what I'm leaning towards, but there is potential we just dump from here, and then my whole theory we talked about with S&P is wrong. Just a theory. Don't trade off of it. Trade off your own personal trading plan, and if you don't have one, consider joining TRI, signing up for the school. We will help you make the trading plan, your own trading plan. Volume is low. Okay, so should I shout more? Let me check something. Properties. Now you've got me all worried. Advanced properties. Let me increase the gain here artificially. Volume so low. Okay, all right. Let me fix it. Wait. Nobody said anything about this. I don't know why Chris didn't say anything. Let me check my gain here. Testing. This is me testing the gain function. Let me turn it the other way. Testing. Yep, the other way is better. I am raising it on the, you see my finger? This is the gain button. Okay, I raised it all the way. How does that sound? Better? Loud enough? I raised the gain on multiple areas. I think I remember listening to my own daily brief before, and it was like way too loud. Okay, so hopefully that's good enough. If you guys need it to be louder, maybe you can turn it up on your end. Okay, great. So Nvidia, those are my thoughts. Also oil. I actually don't want to look. I'm not even going to look at oil. We'll look at DXY. You can see a DXY bouncing here. This is going to be a bearish thing for the rest of the market, but it could just sit down here for a while. We do have a 9 on the weekly. Definitely a bearish sign. If this bounces, I don't see how the market's going to rally significantly. So, you know, we'll see with this. There is potential that we just reverse from this area right here after we run the stops right at the highs. It's a tough area. Let me look at the daily. Yeah, so looking at this daily, I would say we got to continue higher. Weekly's definitely put in that divergence. But you have to take out, you've got to take out these highs at least. At bare minimum, you have to take out these highs, take out the stops. But there's no reason why they couldn't even push past that and go up to our target up here. This is the number one chart. This is all that matters. If things break down in the S&P, they're going to break down everywhere else, including in crypto. So that's why I spend so much time on this chart. And I talk about the S&P over anything else, because if this breaks down, it's just everything's sinking. Nothing is going to be saved. Okay, let's look at Bitcoin. So weekly on Bitcoin looks like crap, right? Don't expect a massive rally from here right away. Need this weekly to reverse. As long as it's like this, you're going to get the continual formation of what I've been calling a bull flag. That's all this is. It's seemingly a bull flag. We've had, let me just do a multiple reversals here. This is the lowest we went to, and this was the high so far. And if we reverse that, you know, we're tagging that 61.8 area. I actually want to do it from here to here. And the short zone would be up here, 786, 886. But I'm going to get rid of it because I don't want to confuse. So right now, this is just kind of a bull flag in the grand scheme of things. And we're just ranging, and until this weekly kind of turns around, I don't really see us moving up significantly. Something like, hello, Richie. Welcome. Yeah, so I want to see a breakout on the other side of this downtrend line. I mean, on a daily, we might see it, but I don't think it's there. Yeah, it's not. Could draw it like this. It's not there. You could even draw it like this. No real significant breakout yet. MACD looks decent. Lower time frames, like a 4-hour chart. Looked like it broke higher, but it's just not that strong on these higher time frames. This was simply a rebound, right? To the 38.2 area. Right, so this was your range. We rebounded to 38.2, and now we're rejecting. And if we can't push above this, then we're going to roll all the way over and head back down, and we might even head lower. So be careful with being too bullish on Bitcoin here, because on these higher time frame charts, it just doesn't look that good. This weekly looks like a disaster. And when the weekly looks like this, I can't justify getting too bullish, unfortunately. Just can't. This is not, I need to see MACD that's bullish. You can look back here, by the way, on weeklies. So this, see how bearish it was? And then finally we reversed, and we significantly saw these lines changing. So you need to wait for that. We can even go to a 3-day and look back at the 3-day, and you can see how this, we started to get kind of an even pattern where the MACD went bullish and then a little bearish, and then we took off. And we've got that here where, okay, we're about to maybe go bullish if we can push higher. And then we can, yeah, exactly, Richie, good point. So daily, we're getting lower lows and lower highs. This is not bullish price action. This is bearish. So be careful. We're just in a range. And that goes back to the liquidity thing that I talked to about. There's no real catalyst for the market to move higher. The S&P is trying its best to hold Bitcoin up, but that's really all there is. There's just nothing else. We're getting these little brief rallies to kind of hit liquidity zones, and I've talked about these before. So we've got your liquidation zones. There's, for example, I like to look at the symbol version right here. So 61,500 might be that final target, but you could see how there were all these big liquidation zones. Now there's a bunch of liquidation zones down here, 58,000. Let's go to a weekly chart, right? Let's see what we see. Honestly, not that much, surprisingly. You've got liquidations at 65. We could go to 1 month. Yeah, on the weekly, Rocky, Bitcoin, the big issue is just that MACD is negative. I'm not saying that it's like disaster territory. I'm just saying I can't be rah rah bull until I see the weekly kind of RSI pushing up, MACD kind of going bullish, and then I will feel more safe about recommending long trades. For example, you can see here, once the MACD turned bullish, we had the big rally, right? As long as you stayed bull, big rally. And then once we cross back into the red, you've stagnated. Those are, this was a good area to long and leverage. This is not. This is a ranging area. And you can trade the range, that's fine. But it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. It's not as easy as just sitting in a long trade, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, where was I? Yeah, so liquidation levels, not too clear on a monthly, but if we just go to like a 12-hour, 24-hour, we can see the next liquidation levels are down here. 58,000 is where they might target. They might grab 61. It's all a game of which one is going to be hit first. And I can't even answer that, but I love looking at this, and I think it's very helpful. You can even look at this. I want to refresh it actually. But another thing I wanted to point out that I forgot is the fear and greed index. And what did I tell you guys? I said, look, as long as we're in fear, the market is probably going to go up. But now finally we hit this greed zone. People are not fearful anymore. People are possibly buying. We want to get into extreme greed. And then once we're in extreme greed, that's when you know we're probably at a top. Now this is the legacy market, but crypto kind of sort of mirrors it. Let me refresh this. I'm surprised in crypto we're still in fear. I am surprised by that. Okay, interesting. So we went out of fear for a bit, and then we went right back into it when we had that dump. Ideally, I would like to see us in the greed territory. And it's a bit concerning to not see that, but the stock market is in the greed territory. And you can see here the liquidations, right? If you just look at like 1 day, there's not that many, right? If Bitcoin increases by just another 1,000, you would get like 151 million liquidations. But if it decreases by 1,000, you would also get, actually you'd get the same. So basically almost exactly the same amount of liquidations, which doesn't help. If it's leaning one way or the other significantly, that's when you can get your big, that's when you know, okay, there's like a huge chance that we'll go in that direction. But now it's kind of equal on both sides. Very hard to predict where price is going to go. You can see with Rune, by the way, look at this. It's hitting right into my resistance area, broke down on a 15-minute chart. Now I know it's going to sit here or it's going to roll over, which was a signal up here to exit a leverage position I had down here from about $3.99. And that's what I did. Very happy with the profit there, and we'll see what happens next. Same with other coins like Solana and Optimism. They're just kind of oscillating here. Yeah, so Bitcoin, not super crazy bullish on it just yet. I'm just not. I think we're in no man's zone, and I think it could have one more leg, another pullback lower. And I recommend being very cautious here because you don't want to get burned. All it did was retrace to a 38.2, and it could easily head lower one more time, and you would get likely end up somewhere around here, right down there, 54,000. Let's go back to our liquidations. 54,000 would be way lower than we need to go, but that's kind of where it's targeting. All the way down here. It's not even any history to go back and look at that. Let me see. Yeah, it's really not that much. I don't know what the motivation would be to head all the way down here, but that's kind of what I'm seeing. Even though the liquidations are mostly to the upside, but this makes sense. If I don't look at those liquidation levels, this would make sense from a technical standpoint, that we had a brief rally and now we're going to get a major pullback. Okay, I want to talk about a few alts, but I think that was about 30 minutes. So I'm going to call it with the public show. And then in the private one for TRI members, and if you're not a TRI member, please consider joining. I'm going to talk about some altcoins and my plays and plans with those altcoins, considering what I think is going to happen with this pullback. Okay. See you guys in the private show. And thank you for watching. And if I don't see you in the private show, you should join TRI. I don't know what you're doing with your life. You should just don't join. It's a free trial. Just join. Anyway, like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. See you guys next week or in the after party, hopefully. All right. Bye, everybody.